Peter Kling, your thoughts on what's going on in Antarctica? You know, you're not allowed to go down there. Nobody really knows what's going on. It's a continent, for God's sakes, and it's a complete mystery to everyone.
Yeah, and it's been in the news a lot, especially with an alleged Russian fleet and a U.S. fleet heading down there and special ops taking advanced weapons down there and people being evacuated. And it's like, how do you verify any of this? How do you verify it? You know, who's leaking the information, first of all? And then this is the information, what the information that's allegedly leaked is that what's going on is that they're removing a bunch of scientists and that there's special forces going down there with advanced weaponry to deal with what sounds like a bunch of Nephilim getting loose under the ice. Yeah, okay, this is pretty far-fetched, but I've heard this story before, and I've heard it tied to what was supposed to be 2 earthquakes. Remember the one in Duluth, New Mexico, right on the there was one just right on the Colorado-New Mexico border, and at the same time that went off, we had an earthquake in Virginia, which rattled the whole Appalachian mountain chain and cracked the Washington Monument. So the Washington Monument had to be repaired. Well, it was reported that those were underground nukes that went off because they didn't seismically come back as an earthquake. They had a different signature than a normal earthquake. And so all of a sudden there was this little chatter, but how do you prove any of this? Well, this whistleblower associated with the military is a colonel. He comes forward a couple of years ago and he says that they did indeed set these nukes off in an effort to kill Nephilim that they had created, which got out of hand. And I'm thinking, here it comes. Now, here's where the story starts to get really weird, because we know that from the different whistleblowers that aliens have been helping make or create UFOs. We got the Star Wars program from Reagan. An interesting thing, what did Reagan say to the United Nations? Let's see, something about we would put our differences aside if we were under an alien attack from outside off this planet. He said that to the General Assembly of the United Nations. I'm not quoting him verbatim. Go look it up on the internet. You'll find the speech there if they haven't pulled it. But he warned all the people. His speechwriters didn't want him to talk about that. And he said, no, I want it in there. We're gonna mention this. And he said, wouldn't we put our differences aside if we were being attacked by an alien force outside this planet? So we got Star Wars, which we talked about earlier, an increase in UFO sightings, a dramatic increase in UFO sightings. Obviously, the program has gone forward. So if this technology started going forward under the Reagan era, who warned us about aliens, now we get reports of all sorts of weird things going on. But let's go back to the Nazis, who we know were sacrificing children to alien beings in order to get their UFO technology or their advanced weapon technology. We also know that based on the documentation that they took a fleet and went down to Antarctica and set up essentially a colony there. And if you want to believe everything that's been reported, they are under the ice and have been under the ice for what? Since 1945? Since at least the end of the war. But I think the first expedition went down there in 1939. I think it was still the 30s. But regardless, the last one was down there. It seemed like an escape fleet. Yeah, there's my next alarm. Sorry. We know that the Nazis were down there. They were doing something there. They had contact with the aliens. They were involved in UFO technology. We know back in the late 1990s, the Air Force took down large tunnel digging machines, the same ones that they used through rock up in the United States to do their underground digging. They took down there to dig under the ice and maybe into the rock of Antarctica itself. Why? A lot of these questions were never asked, and then Russia started its own expedition down into Lake Vostok, 4 years ago. We haven't heard squat come out of that, except for a story about a 10-armed octopus. which kills people. So now I believe the English expedition that was down there was removed, and the cover story is that, yeah, giant crack is formed in one of the shelves. I forget which one it was, but it's a long crack, and it's going to be a huge iceberg that they're expecting to calf off of this. And the crack was so close to their camp or to where they were that they needed to evacuate. That's at least the story. I don't see any real stories that you can confirm where the United States and Russia are both sending a fleet down there. I can't confirm any stories about special forces taking advanced weaponry down there. What's going on? We know that some high-level dignitaries have been down there. We get that imitation or that supposed tweet from which astronaut was it that they had to rush back because of some medical complication? Not the first medical complication that they've had to bring back out of Antarctica either.
It was Buzz Aldrin.
Buzz Aldrin.
On a previous show, remember, I had debunked that tweet.
Yep, I do remember that, but that's why I questioned the tweet this time. But it was tweeted, so who tweeted it? You see, I can't confirm any of these things that are going on. I went online 2 days ago, first to Neumayer Station and then to several other stations that are down there, and I still see activity. You know, you see all of a sudden the little hatch opens at Neumayer, the machinery comes out. You see all the snow tracks because it's all time lapse. So there's still activity going on at these other stations. One of the stations was putting up happy birthday signs. 3 different people had birthdays in one day, I guess, because the names kept on changing. So it's like, okay, there's still activity going on, and it seems to be normal activity. And so where are the stories coming from? You know, you look for the evidence. That's one of the things. The scientist doesn't just go out and straight just believe everything. You want to vet it out, and you want to be sure about this before you start saying, hey, something's going on. But let's take a look at circumstantial evidence. As I said before, we've got pyramids on every continent. Why wouldn't there be pyramids on Antarctica? We've got the Perry-Reese map. For those of you who don't know it, look it up. But essentially, the Navy authenticated it and said that this map was made before. It shows the land mass, not the ice mass, the land mass of Antarctica. And so they concluded that the original map must have been made before Antarctica had ice on it, or at least somebody knew what it looked like without the ice. You've got the Admiral Byrd expedition that went down there. That was a full naval fleet. Why did he take a military expedition to go explore the South Pole? The Nazis were there. I don't know what else to say. Alien artifacts under the ice? Why not? We have them in the jungles. We have them on the plain of Giza, or the plateau of Giza. We see anomalies that from all over the place. Why wouldn't they be under Antarctica's ice? You see, so what's going on there? Could this be a fulfillment of something that we might take as an alien invasion that's recorded in Revelation chapter 9, where a key is given to an angel that opens a fallen star, and he opens up the pit of the abyss and releases a plague upon planet Earth, and the plague has, these alien-looking locust has a commander-in-chief by the name of Abandon in Hebrew, or in Greek, Apollyon, hence Apollyon Rising. So are there Nephilims running loose under the ice in Antarctica? Well, yeah, there probably could be. If you want to believe what the whistleblowers have told us, there's cloned alien armies on Earth, on the Moon, and on Mars. If we had to face an alien invasion from off this planet, wouldn't we put our differences aside and work together? Maybe Reagan was actually the only president who ever told the truth about aliens. So they're with us, and yeah, they gave us the movie AVP, Alien versus Predator. Do we have aliens and predators actually running around under the ice? I kind of doubt that the full movie scenario is real, but there are some sort of life forms. We already know we've got interdimensionals, and here's the thing about the Nephilim. According to the book of Enoch, he talks about he's actually talking to the Watchers, and the Watchers want to take their sons with them. The sons were the giant offspring that they had with the hybrid offspring that they had with human women, and these things were huge. And so they petitioned Enoch to ask Yahweh or Yahuwah if they could take the sons with them, and the answer was no. On the earth they were begotten, and on the earth they will stay. So besides alien intervention, we seem to have these demonic forces that we can't see, but we do know exist. There are people that have come under demonic possession. We've had different anomalies happen that we have no explanation for, and there's a long history of this. And what we find now is that, yes, indeed, these interdimensional life forms can cohabitate with the human soul inside the actual physical body, which makes it real easy for these souls, these lost souls, if you want to call them, the consciousness soul or the life force of the Nephilim, these demonic forces. We don't know how many there are. We don't know how many were actually bred or were bred into existence. But we do know that they can take possession of a genetically engineered body, of a cloned body, which is supposed to be soulless. It's just alive, but it has no soul. Don't ask me. I don't know. That's a little bit beyond. They haven't shared that technology yet. It's not a science. It's an alleged science. But from what the whistleblowers say, yep. Hey, we know they can clone humans. There's been several high-ranking officials that claim to have had clones made on their behalf. Hillary is one of them. Oh, it's Hillary's double. Well, yeah, maybe somebody looks like Hillary. Who knows? But we get little inklings from different movies. Hollywood's been doing this for years, and so when we look at something like Star Wars, where we've got the cloned armies there, and we look at something like Predators, you have to start scratching your head and say, okay, based on Earth's history, based on what we know within history, we've had extraterrestrial involvement all the way through. The Bible is a prime example. It talks about this stuff going on right now. It doesn't mention Antarctica specifically, but it's talking about that this is a judgment period for those who are offering up those child sacrifices to those alien forces who are getting high on human loosh, and for that they are rewarded quite well, given advanced technologies, given advanced information on things that happen, given extreme wealth and power. This isn't anything new. It's been going on for thousands of years. It's been happening since the days of the Anunnaki. It's been happening since the days of Egypt. Live child sacrifice, or at least human sacrifice. Why should we be shocked that this is going on now? We're not shocked that we have aliens. Oh, they want our children? No, that's all wrong. They're here to help us. Yeah, right. So why haven't they helped us yet? Why are we sending special forces allegedly down to Antarctica? Why do we get reports from military whistleblowers that they're dealing with aliens and to make an advanced spacecraft and have cloned armies? It's all there in the scripture. You just have to decode it. This might be part of a plague being released upon the planet. We don't know. Stay tuned. Disclosure's coming one way or the other. So, yeah, there's a lot of anomalies. I don't buy into everything that's being said about Antarctica, but something's down there. They've found artifacts of some sort, I'm sure. They've been down there for quite some time. And the Nazis, who we know have been dealing with child sacrifice and UFO technology since before World War II, they started it. They've been down there since 1945, or since the end of the war anyway. So what's going on underneath the ice? Use your imagination. I don't know what else to say, but don't let it run wild. It's not going to affect us immediately anyway.